Welcome to the Shadow the Stereotypes podcast, where our intention is to empower Black men to live extraordinary lives. You see, there's never been a lack of Black male role models. There's only been a lack of exposure of those role models. So the intention of this program is to showcase and highlight the brothers out there who are doing some amazing and incredible things in the world. And so joining me today is Mr. Ellis Hubbard, and he's one of those guys that we definitely need to learn about because he's doing some incredible things. So first of all, Ellis, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to chatting with you. We're going to talk about your business. We're going to talk about different things that you do. But first of all, let's just kind of get to know Ellis a little bit. So first of all, where are you from?
So I was born in Houston, but I was raised east of here, about 30 miles in a town. It was small at the time when I was coming up, but it's called Baytown. So I was raised in Baytown, Texas.
Oh, now here's the thing. I used to work in Baytown.
All right.
Back in that would have been 1980, 85?
Wow, okay.
It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Back then, it was probably the most boring city
Absolutely.
I've ever been in. But
Yeah.
I was working for a company called McCoy's Building Supply, actually, back then.
I'm very familiar with them, yeah.
Yeah, I worked for those guys for a while. And that was when I first became an assistant manager. That was the first store they sent me to. So Baytown's got a little special place in my heart because I was bored stiff there. But anyway. So tell us a little bit about your family, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Sure. I have three beautiful children. They're all adults. My youngest, Corey, is 19. He is a college football player and an art major. Let me say it right. Art and the creative computer type art stuff or whatever he's doing. He majors at Southwestern University. He's a defensive back. Going into his second year. My middle child, my oldest son, his name is Kerry. So Kerry is a junior in college, but he's taken a year off because he's going to pursue going pro as a football player in Canada. So we're working through those things with him. And my oldest is my beautiful daughter, Kimberly. And Kimberly is an art teacher, and she also has a business she does murals. So she does stuff inside people's homes. I'm single, but I'm with somebody.
Okay, that's it. What's the term they use? It's complicated.
Well, no, it's not complicated at all. Let me be clear, since this is our podcast. So I just recently got engaged. I'll just say it like that.
Oh well, congratulations.
So thank you. Yeah,
congratulations.
I was trying to keep it, PC, but she gonna see this and she be like, no, I just, and I'm very happy. So
all right, so you got to give her a shout out. So put her name out there. Tell us a little bit about her.
Absolutely. Her name is LaTanya Miles. She is very wonderful person. She also is a business owner. She is an independent benefits and life insurance specialist here representing a company called Bankers Life.
Okay.
And she has her hands in a few other things as well. She has three beautiful children. Two are adults. One, her oldest, just graduated college, and her youngest is still in high school. And she's, the love of my life, and we're doing some stuff together, trying to make an impact. And she does a lot of networking with me, so which is really cool. So we enjoy ourselves.
Well, congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. So with that being said, I want you to name a woman who inspires you.
Oh, wow. That's easy. My mom, her name is, I'm gonna say her full name, Lily Betty Mae Hubbard.
Okay.
She barely touches 5 feet tall, but her impact, especially in my life and those she's touched over her lifespan, has been incredible. It's been, she was a teacher for 40 years. She graduated high school at 15, graduated college at 19.
Wow.
Yeah, went off to New York. She was going to pursue her graduate degree at NYU, but her dad and mom weren't, or her dad wasn't doing too well, so she moved back to Baytown to take care of them, and then got a job in the Conroe School District and kept teaching there for, I don't remember how long, but when I came along, she was teaching in Crosby Independent School District. And I'm saying that because she's touched so many lives. I mean, I run into people all the time, and when they find out who I am, it's like, especially from that part of the state.
Sure.
And they found out, hear my name, and they said, well, wait a minute, your mama taught, me, or taught my cousin, and all this kind of stuff. So she's been a giant in my life. I am definitely a mama's boy. And I mean, it's just, she gives me so much inspiration. We talk every day. And when we don't talk, we are texting because she just learned how to text. So she has fun with that, and she loves on her grandchildren. I mean, she adores them.
Nice.
So, and she won't. And she never. I'm gonna say this. She's never let me call her mama. I don't know why, but I call her B-E-A, and so that's kind of her nickname. Everybody calls her. But she's definitely my inspiration.
Nice. Now, name a male role model that you look up to and someone who's really helped shape your life.
Yeah, well, and then again, I've been blessed that my dad, I was named after him. I'm Ellis III, he's Ellis Jr. My dad has been a guiding person in my life. He's kept the way that he has led his life, from being a high school All-American, college, high school All-American from football, won state championships, all this kind of stuff, to the way he worked. He went off to the Air Force for a few years right after he got married, and then he worked in the steel industry here in Houston for like 20 some odd years, maybe longer than that. All I remember is my dad just busting his butt working, for us and taking care of the family, coming home and loving on us like he wasn't tired at all. Being a good example, being a great example of what a man is supposed to do when he has a family, and even when he doesn't. And he is, but he loves on us. He's not one of those dads. He wasn't one of those dads that he was just hard nosed, and
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't go to him and just give him a hug. No. What you see in me, I'm just duplicating what he did.
There you go. Nice.
Definitely, he's my role model.
Now, I want you to name a book that has had a positive impact on your life.
I actually got the book right here next to me. Can I say two?
Sure.
Yeah, so this is going to be crazy. But here's the book. This is one right here.
Okay.
Then I had to show it so you can understand, so your audience will see. So now I don't have to say the word. They can just see it. That book came to me when I was going through a rough patch in my life, when I was getting separated, and so I needed to realize who I was, and that book really helped remind me of who I was. And that's really all it's about, is people know. I really feel like people know who you are. You just need to be reminded of that sometimes when you're going through a rough patch.
Sure.
And then the other book is Think and Grow Rich. Just absolutely love that book. It's when you read it and then you reread it and you reread it again, it gives you that path. So this book helped remind me who I was, and then Think and Grow Rich brought me back to where I needed to go to do and take care of the things that I needed to take care of in life, and gave me those principles. So,
interestingly enough, I actually read Think and Grow Rich when I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
1973. I'll never forget, because as I was reading the book, I remember struggling. There was a word in there. It said, I couldn't pronounce the word. What was it? I can't. Let me think. It'll come to me. But I remember reading it because my grandfather, who was a huge influence in my life, is actually the one who told me to read the book. Now, this guy only had an 8th grade education.
Wow.
But he was the smartest man I've ever known. He taught me lessons that I still carry to this day.
Yeah.
The word was definiteness. In the book, it said definiteness of purpose.
Yes.
And I remember not being able to say that word when I was 13. And my grandfather and I would practice I couldn't say that word for whatever reason. But yeah, that's one of the classics. I think it should be required reading for everybody.
I agree.
It's touched so many lives.
Right, and it's not about wealth,
right?
In the sense that most people think. You know, if you read the cover, Think and Grow Rich, you're thinking, it's
money.
It's all about money. It's really not.
Yeah.
You can't acquire and hold on to money unless you know where it really comes from. And Think and Grow Rich tells you where it's coming from.
Right. The principles within that book are the foundation for success. Period.
Absolutely. Totally
so
agree.
If you like movies, name a movie that you love and tell me why.
I am a huge Star Wars fan.
Oh my goodness! I knew that was something I liked about you.
Yes. I mean, I'm such a big Star Wars fan. I love all the movies, and then the what's the universe outside of the movies? You got the comic books, you got the cartoons. All those cartoons kind of came along when my kids were young, so we were watching them together. So I was able to, we could talk through all these different scenarios about all these characters. I love Star Wars because I believe that they were teaching us a much larger story, and it was a love story. That's all it was. It was Darth Vader loving on Padme so much, but Padme died, and he thought he was greater than what he was. So he became enraged with going down a path he shouldn't have. But then his children came back and reminded him of what he really was supposed to do, which was just be a good person. So the rest of that, the lightsabers and the Jedi and all the rest of, all that stuff was just, in a sense, it was just filler. He could have been a story about a guy, right here in 2018.
Yeah.
It's a timeless story is what I'm saying. And that's why I love it.
Oh, absolutely. And see, and the original movie came out in 1977. I was 17 years old. I'll never forget. I saw the original Star Wars movie in the theater 21 times.
Wow.
The summer of 77. I couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah.
There was something about that movie that moved me in a way that I can't even put into words. Mm-hmm. But now what I recognize is the reason I was so drawn to it. You ever hear of a guy named Joseph Campbell?
No.
Joseph Campbell was a mythologist. And this guy, he came up with a theory. And he called this theory the monomyth. And basically what he was saying, in all stories, there's what he calls the hero's journey. Mm. And we all go on this amazing journey. And if you remember in the original Star Wars, Luke Skywalker was the primary character.
Right.
And so his story basically is the hero's journey. At the beginning of the movie, his caregivers got killed, but with them being killed, he was then able to become a pilot and do the things that he had dreamed of doing. Well, in this, and make sure you do some research on what's called the hero's journey. It's amazing stuff out there about it. But it's really about each individual coming to the recognition and understanding about this amazing gift we have called life. Mm-hmm. And how all the challenges in our lives, if viewed with an open mind, are there to teach us something about ourselves. Yeah. And it's a really powerful story from that perspective of the hero's journey. So just for all you who are watching this, just do a Google search and find there's an interview with Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers.
Okay.
That will blow you away. It is.
So I'm really going to look that up because I love Bill Moyers. I used to watch him like religiously, this late night interview. So yes, I will definitely look.
Bill Moyers and Joseph Campbell. Find the interview. It's powerful. All right. So next question. So there are some people who are pessimistic about the future while others are pretty optimistic. So where do you fall on the spectrum between optimism and pessimism for the future in general?
Absolutely. This is so funny. I'm smiling because we're just having this conversation, my fiance and my son, like, why is your dad, meaning me, my fiance and my son were having this discussion about me. Why is he so optimistic? And I think I was just born this way. I am an ultimate optimistic person. I can't see, I'll say it like this. I know there's problems in the world, but my mind immediately goes to how do we fix it? What's the solution? If you see me frustrated, it's because I am frustrated with the situation that we haven't fixed it. We haven't taken our minds to try to fix it. You know, my kids know when I get frustrated, if dad gets frustrated, it's because we're not providing solutions. We just sitting up here fussing for no reason. I may walk out on you and have to come back. Let me leave. And when you're done fussing, let's come back and fix this, because I am an optimist. I'll say this, Mike. I'm not one of those who see, is the glass half full, glass empty? That to me, you're pushing aside really what optimism is. No, optimism is looking at problems and situations of the world and finding solutions and being open to finding solutions. You know, so my outlook on the world is going to be optimistic. My outlook on situations, problems that we have in our community, problems that, you know, are affecting Black men in general, is going to be optimistic, because we have to find solutions. I got 2 boys. You know, they cannot grow up in a world where we're dealing with the same stuff in 2018 that they will be in 2028 or 2038. No, we can't do that. You know, we have to find solutions right now. So I'm optimistic that those solutions exist and that the people to implement those solutions will come together and make it work. And I don't put myself on the sidelines. I'm going to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah. And I mean, I got to tell you, I consider myself to be an irrepressible optimist with a passion for the impossible.
Love it.
That's my stand. And interestingly enough, I get a lot of pushback because of my optimism, especially as a man who happens to be Black. I get accused of denying the challenges that face Black men, but the truth is, I recognize the challenges, but I'm like you. How do we fix it?
Yeah.
And I'm always focusing on ways to try to fix it. And so that's what this whole podcast is about. It's about providing some concrete solutions and information and education that can change the mindset, because I think that's where it all begins, changing the mindset of men of color so that we can succeed in all areas of our lives.
Yeah.
So now, I want you to imagine that I have this magic wand, and I'm going to give you this magic wand, and with this magic wand, you can create anything your heart desires. If you had that magic wand, what would your life look like 20 years from now?
Wow. Okay. 20 years from now, my 3 children will be in places that they dreamed of, whether that's a profession, whether that's a physical place with, you know, nice homes and where they want to be, or whether that's situations with, you know, their kids, which would be my grandkids or something like that. That would be definitely part of what I would like to see 20 years from now. 20 years from now, I see myself very happily married to Miss LaTanya Miles. We've gone all over the world with trips, both for business and for pleasure. We've taken my parents and her dad, you know, to places that they only dreamed of going. And I'm not gonna say more importantly, equally important, we will have in 20 years made an impact in our immediate community to where it is different than what it looks like now. Whether that's, we've helped inspire more businesses that are Black owned to grow or to come into being. We've definitely, which is something that I would like to see, we would have definitely inspired more young Black men to have their own businesses and to hire more young Black men. And then to, you know, just being selfish, finally buy my Mercedes.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. I just get one little thing. That's all I want. It's my little car.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. So now let's jump into Mr. Ellis Hubbard, the professional. Now, tell us a little bit about your educational background.
Mm-hmm. So I graduated high school in Baytown, Sterling. I went off to college at Purdue University. I went there to play football. I was also an electrical engineering major. Didn't work out as well as I wanted it to. Our coach got fired after that year, and I had no ties to the area. Struggled a little bit with school, so came back home here to Baytown. Came back home to Baytown, and was going to school at U of H, University of Houston downtown. Back when it was only a 2-year university. I was there a year. I had planned on being there a little bit longer, but I got recruited to play football at Texas Southern. So went over to Texas Southern, and I was there 4 years, where I met my my ex-wife at the time. We started dating and decided to get married and had a baby on the way and all that stuff. And so I actually stopped going to school, Mike, and tried to play pro football. But in the midst of all of that, realized I had to take care of my family. So I had a great job at Shell Chemical in their sales department. And so my professional career kind of took off without me actually finishing my degree. And I've been very, very blessed for the past 25 years of working in corporate America in different phases. I was sales manager for different retail establishments. I was sales trainer for those same establishments. I kind of dipped my toe into being a consultant here and there, doing trainings and stuff on my own. Actually fell into insurance adjusting in 1999 and 2000. Progressive Insurance was a very small company at the time. I helped take it and grow it really quickly from the insurance adjusting side. And Hurricane Ike came along 2008. I've lived in Dallas as an insurance adjuster. And then I got into the world of workforce development after that, because we needed to, make sure folks had jobs, out of Hurricane Ike, rebuilding what we needed to at that time. And met the mayor, our current mayor. I met Mayor Turner. He was a state rep back then, and he helped me get into the workforce development world. And that's where I stayed for, the past, 10 years. In different phases of that, business consultancy and management, until I decided to launch my own business. So that's me.
So speaking of that, you are the founder, president / CEO of Short Street Strategic Solutions. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the word Short Street, just is real quickly, is the street that I grew up on. So I wanted to kind of give some little recognition to that area. It's called McNair, which is a small little section of Baytown. So Short Street that's where that comes from. So I want to recognize my roots. I've always been a solution-minded person, and the opportunities that came to me, whether it was in workforce development or in some of the other places, other things that I've done in terms of trainings, sales and management training, I was always a solution provider. So I decided to start this business to be a place where we came up with solutions collaboratively. So with my clients, I do business development work. I do some alternative small business financing. I'm helping. I have contracts where I'm going out and purchasing other businesses for clients, helping them sell their businesses or selling their assets. So all of that, encompasses me finding and brokering solutions for my clients. And so that's really what we do.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are absolutely terrified of leaving that security of the corporate American job.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were people, when you said, I'm going to step out and do my own thing, people went, that's probably not a good idea. So where did you gain the courage to make that leap and to say, I can do this on my own?
So the courage came from reading, to be honest with you. I mean, I absorb self-help and self-empowerment books. So, we talked about the first book that I showed your audience, and then we also talked about Think and Grow Rich. And so having that reading, especially Think and Grow Rich early on in my career, actually brought me into that whole world of self-development. So I'm always reading about how do I empower myself, how to make myself better. And so even when I was in corporate world, I'm still looking at, I guess I thought like an entrepreneur, because I was reading all of this stuff. So it was, for me, that's the foundation. If you have that itch, you're like, man, I love what I do, but I don't love where I do it. Or I hate what I do and I really want to get off on my own. You got to build that muscle up, that courage up. And you can get it through these books. You don't need to go to someone and say, there are mentors out there that'll help you. But if you don't have one, those books give you some foundation of thought processes that will help you make that leap and have confidence to do it. So for me, that's where it started. So when opportunities came across my plate, that I could see, hey, this is something that could sustain me, that could help me, move. What do I need to do? Well, I had that foundation. And so I was able to present a proposal. And then I just got good at doing that until somebody, said, okay, yes, we'll take your proposal. We hire you. We'll contract you or whatever it is. And so and I just keep doing that over and over and over, just presenting more proposals and seeing more opportunities and trying to capitalize on them.
And so here's the message to the viewers. It is absolutely possible for you to pursue and to live your dreams. And I know that may sound like a cliche, but what I know with absolute certainty is today, 2018, if you want something badly enough, no one can keep you from attaining it except yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely convinced of that. And so another reasons why I do what I do is because I had to overcome some seemingly insurmountable obstacles to get to where I am as a speaker, as a writer, and as a radio show host. Mm-hmm. But like yourself, Ellis, I've always been committed to personal development work. Mm-hmm. And so for us as men of color, I think the greatest challenge we have is to invest in our own potential.
Yes.
And that means reading the books, going to the seminars, checking out the webinars, learning and growing and expanding our mind so that we remove this barrier that we can't.
Yeah. And to your point, I'll give you a plug. This is a great book. So what he just said, trust me, is real. Read. So there you go.
Yeah, and so again, that's one of the things that we as men of color, we need to do more of. We need to collaborate, connect with each other, and share these resources. And that's why I'm doing these interviews, because I want men to see other men that look like us who are doing these things. Because there's lots of us that are doing it. You just don't see it in the media.
No.
And so when you start thinking about your future, and obviously everyone's not going to be an entrepreneur. And I'm not saying you have to be an entrepreneur, but what I am saying is that you must, and I'm a huge fan of Anthony Robbins. Mm-hmm. From a motivational standpoint, he said this: the key to success is constant and never-ending improvement. Mm-hmm.
C-A-N-I.
Yeah, that's Kanai. That's, in a nutshell, if you don't get anything else out of this interview, get that, because that's the key to your success. Understanding that as a human being, you have an infinite capacity for learning. There's no such thing as learning too much. You just have to commit to learning and to growing and to transforming yourself from the inside out. That's my motto. That's my coaching platform. I coach people to transform themselves from the inside out, because when you do that, when you change your inner reality, your outer reality can change. If you don't change what's in here, nothing out there is going to change.
Won't work.
So what we're saying, first and foremost, is to recognize that if you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep getting what you've always got. If you want to get something different, you got to do something different. And if you aren't investing in your potential, you're limiting yourself. And we don't want you to do that. We want you to expand and to grow. So, Ellison, a couple of the questions I wanted to touch bases with you on.
Absolutely.
Because taking that leap, it's a leap of faith,
mm-hmm.
which again, it can be scary for a lot of people.
Yes.
But yet the rewards of it, it's difficult to put into words. So from your perspective, how does it feel knowing that you're in control of your destiny?
Oh, man. The clicheest word is freedom, right? Because that's easy, right? But here's the real word, and it's a word, you know, everyone knows, but it's independence. Okay. I do not have to rely on a corporate manager to say I'm okay. Or that, you know, you only need this, Ellis. If you come here and do this, then we're going to take care of you, but you better show up on this time and go to lunch at this time and be back by this time. And, oh, you can't leave until I tell you to leave. No, I have complete independence. And what's good about being a business owner, especially in the industry that I'm in, that we're in, is that you can write that into a contract, how your your business experience and your life experience is going to work with this client. We're going to talk here and we're going to do what we need to do so that it gives me the independence to go and do other things when I want to. I make my own schedule, Mike. I mean, if things come up, and especially with me having, you know, young adults, you know, my daughter may need me to show up at her school to speak for whatever, and it may come up like, you know, that. Or my son may need, you know, something over the right on Friday. Daddy, I need you to come, you know, do something in Austin. I can just, bam, I'm gone. You know, like that. I can rearrange my schedule as I need to. It's independence. So business ownership for me equates to independence.
And I absolutely love that, and I couldn't agree with you more. And here's something that I want the viewers to consider. And this is why I do what I do. And this is why I started my company. And it actually, I didn't pick this up until I was in my 30s. But for me, it's all about creativity. Mm-hmm. And here's what I mean by that. I never knew that I was a writer at the beginning. I started writing as a result of a divorce, bankruptcy, foreclosure, depression, just trying to get my life back together. Yeah. And through that process of putting my life back together, I realized and came to the understanding that I have a gift, and that gift is writing. Mm-hmm. I love writing. And so to be able to take my thoughts and ideas and put them into a form of a book that I know can empower people, talk about fulfilling and rewarding. I mean, it's indescribable, because I believe that every human being has a unique purpose. Mm-hmm. There's a reason you were put on this planet. Very few people are willing to go deep enough to figure out what their purpose is. But I think there's two ways to look at it, or shall I say two types of purpose. There's what's called your inner purpose and your outer purpose. Okay. Your inner purpose is to wake up to who you truly are. Yes. That's your inner purpose, to find out who you are. And when you do that, you discover your unique gifts and talents. Mm-hmm. And so self-knowledge is the key. Your outer purpose is to take those unique gifts and talents, which are your inner purpose, and figure out how to apply them to make the world a better place. Absolutely. Love that. So when you take your inner purpose, which are your gifts and talents, and share with the world and make the world, then you are on purpose. And that's when your life lights you up. You wake up in the morning and you're like, yeah, let's do this thing. Because now you are driven from something in here, not anything out there. See, a lot of us are driven by, I got to pay the mortgage, I got to pay the car notes. So I'm driven out of necessity and not passion and purpose. Sure. When you get to the point where you're driven by passion and purpose, it's a whole different ballgame. Yeah. It's a whole different ballgame. And so I am absolutely certain that every person that's watching this right now, you have a divine purpose, whether you recognize it or not. And don't get caught up into and get into this comparison game. This is, I think, what people get tripped up thinking, well, my purpose is small. There's no such thing as a big purpose and a little purpose. It's just your purpose. Yes. When you find your purpose and connect to that, then you'll figure out the rest of it. But you got to do the inner work. You got to be willing to go within to figure this out. And when you do, see, Albert Einstein said this: there's only two ways to look at life. One is as if nothing is a miracle. The other is as if everything is a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Yes. I personally believe everything is a miracle. I believe life is a miracle. We are given this amazing gift called life.
Mhm.
And when we connect to our purpose, we get the miracle in all of it. And so my hope is that as you're watching this and you're listening to what Ellis has shared and what I've shared, and just come to an understanding that life was meant to be good.
Yes.
But nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy. So Ellis, again, tell us a little bit about, so with your company, Short Street Strategic Solutions, so when people find you, or who are your clients? Let's start there. Who are your clients? Who would be attracted to you?
Okay, so small businesses that are looking for alternative sources for funding should come to me, should seek out companies like myself. Here's why. It's because most small businesses either can or cannot. They can get a bank loan or have been denied or turned down for bank loans, and they still need the money. So let me say it like that. What we're specializing in right now, what I've done to reformat Short Street Strategic Solutions is towards that market. So we provide funding from $50,000 all the way up to $500,000 for small businesses that need that cash right now for anything. There's no collateral involved, but you can use it for equipment purchases. You can use it for working capital. You can use it to buy a truck. You can use whatever you need it for. We have a simple application process. We don't do a credit check. We're looking at what revenues you're currently bringing in so we can base our decisions quickly on how much money we can lend you to get you the cash that you need. The reason why I'm emphasizing that part of my business and my solutions business that way is because that's what's needed in the marketplace. And I really enjoy helping small businesses grow. You know, I've been blessed the past couple of years to be a board member of the Greater Houston Black Chamber of Commerce. And coming from the workforce development world, where we're trying to find places for people to go to work, we had a hard time helping people go to Black-owned businesses because they just weren't large enough. And so what do businesses, whether they're Black, white, or whatever, own? What do they need? They need access to capital. And so I have been blessed with a unique opportunity to partner with a company out of Oregon who provides this access to capital with a simple process. And so that's what we do. We're trying to get you money as quick as possible when you need it.
Now, so are you working with investors, or this is an organization that's providing these funding?
It is a private loan company. So they have their own source of funding. This industry has existed since the banking industry. It's just, they don't publicize themselves because they exist in the middle. They exist in the middle between, you know, the larger banks and the mid-sized banks. You know, they're the ones that provide that bridge financing that gets companies, you know, and prepares them so they can get larger loans. Because, you know, we report to the credit bureaus. You know, when you're making your loan payments back, we're reporting that. So you look better after getting the loan through us than you did before.
Fantastic. Well, that's a great segue into closing. So how can people find you and your company?
Yes. So right now, what I would prefer is that you can reach out to me over email or phone. We're revamping our website, so I'm not going to give that out right now. Okay. You can reach me at Ellis, my first name, at Ellis Hubbard, HUBBARD.com. That's my email. Or you can call me directly. It's 281-727-6907. Text me. We're available. My staff, I'm starting to farm out some of my consultancy to some independent contractors as we grow, which was my goal. We grow this company, but definitely we're available. You can reach us at those two ways. And then you can find me on Facebook and on LinkedIn.
Nice. Now, does your organization work with startups?
So we don't currently work with startups for that financing, but okay. I am working with some companies that do provide startup financing. We're doing our vetting right now to make sure that we're sending them, we're working with the right companies to provide startup funding. But yes, that's the next avenue we're going into.
Perfect. Well, Ellis, I want you to give some final thoughts to the audience, to the viewing audience. We've covered a lot. So just from your perspective, what words of advice would you give to the person who's watching this, who may be scared, most of all, and has given up on their dreams, what would your advice be to them?
So there's no such thing as you've run out of time. I'll say that first thing. So if you remove time as a barrier to achieving your dreams, then the next couple of things that I'm gonna say will make sense. Forget about what time it's taken. Forget about what happened in the past from a perspective of keeping you from your goals. Find folk in your life that help you believe in yourself, number one. Okay. Number two, if you need a mentor, find a mentor. Okay. Not everybody needs a mentor, but if you need a mentor, you know it. Find a mentor and be willing to pay the price that it takes, whether that's monetary or whether that's time commitment. Be willing to pay the price that it takes to work with that mentor to get you where you need to go. And then the third thing is just believe. I don't care how much money you have or how little money you have. If you don't believe you're going to be successful, it won't happen for you. You know, and it won't.
Yeah,
so that's my point of thought.
And so the last piece I'll add to that is to take action.
Yes.
You got to do something. I mean, you can sit here and watch this video and think in your mind, I believe, but if you're not taking action, moving toward it, it's not going to happen. So make sure you add some action to that. So Ellis, man, I appreciate you, man. Time sure flies when you're having fun. Thank you so much for joining us on Shatter the Stereotypes, because again, you are definitely shattering those stereotypes, and it has been my honor and privilege to have you on the show. And I'm sure I know there's lots of things. There's things coming up for us. So I'm really looking forward to what's next. And again, thank you for sharing your wisdom, and I really appreciate it. And I wish you continued success in all of your endeavors. And
Absolutely.
so for the viewing audience, see, I've got to get you the copy of the latest one, man.
Oh, yeah. No problem.
Got to get you that one. But again, I want to say thank you to the viewers for viewing, and to know that it is absolutely possible for you to shatter the stereotypes and live an incredible life. It's all up to you. You've just got to make that happen. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next episode. Take care.